Holy heck, this is Ryan from So Is It Any Good, and this is the So Is It Any Good movie challenge. This is week number 2, and we are looking at movies that were TV shows. I'm Ryan.
I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
Can you do that one more time?
It sounds like we're on opposite sides of the world.
Yeah, your one went, I'm Ben. I'll say,
man.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Scott.
More enthusiastic, Scott. I'm Scott.
The problem is just put the headphones in the in-ear ones, and I can't hear my own voice.
All right.
Let me just swap them out again.
Here we go. We're going to get a loud breather again. It's going to be a long cut.
It's all right. I have a feeling this will be I don't know. I always say that, but I think it'll be shorter than last week.
Yes, so do I.
Okay. Can you hear that car?
What? No.
Sounds fully sick to me.
You can hear it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's gone now.
And it's not. This guy fucking parks his car for 25 minutes. He's a motherfucker.
He's a motherfucker. It makes him sound. It makes him sound cool when you say that, though. He's a motherfucker.
He's not a bad motherfucker like Sam Jackson. He's just a motherfucker because that car's a piece of shit. Skyline, and it just parks for 25 minutes, and then he sits in his driveway for 20 minutes, revs its engine, and then finally turns his crappy car off. But it's so friggin' loud. Like, our doors are closed and shit, and you can hear that stuff from across the bloody street kind of thing.
Oh, must be that sick muffler he just got.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben,
I'll wait for that to be turned off.
Ben, how's your what do you call it, Raspberry Pi?
I have to make it, man. That was my brother's one that I.
Okay.
That was the first one I'd actually used. So he's actually going to make one for me, but he wants to get he's not going to get to it until he gets his right first, because I think he wants to cool it a bit better. Because when you play like PS1 stuff onwards, like, it really overheats.
Really?
Yeah.
Noticed, but...
Like, I don't know. You might have some heat sinks or something on there, or.
Nope.
Well, I think he's concerned that, or maybe he just plays it too much.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I bought, I set it up, it was cool, played it for about a week, and then
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I got it's like me whenever I get a new GTA game, and then I play it. I never finish them. Like, I play them for like a week, and then I don't think I've finished the last 2 GTA games.
I'm the opposite with those games. That's all I'll play, and I'll get everything 100% it.
Cool. His car is now officially off. So I'll just introduce myself again, and then you guys introduce yourselves. If you can be kind of enthusiastic, that'd be great.
Okay.
Scoot, you keep going in and out for some reason. Like, your voice is good, and then it'll go to like really shitty audio, and then it'll come back in. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, sometimes you sound like a stormtrooper, and then sometimes you don't. Anyway, let's not worry about that time you just did just then. Is there anything you're doing differently?
Nope.
Okay, anyway, let's not worry about it right now. All right. Hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, this is Scott.
And this is Ben.
So this week we looked at the movies that were once TV shows. I checked out Transformers, the movie, the 1986 classic. And what did you guys check out?
So I looked at Guy Ritchie's 2015 modern version, I guess, of The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
No, we'll have to do something about that. It's good. Yep, like, it's every second word is going to shit.
Is it the headset or?
I have no idea. I have literally no idea. It's like you're just going in and out, like you're going like this. Hey, my name's Scott. This is really cool. This is awesome.
Because I just filled with the thing and then my music started playing, so maybe the thing wasn't in the whole way.
Still doing it though. That's my issue.
Well, I can't hear it, so I don't know.
Let me see if it's If it's recording like that, I mean, I imagine it would be if I can hear it.
That's a different headset. Any different?
Keep talking. Just
Yeah, okay. Yes.
say ABCs.
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R
It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's the same. Fuck, it's probably just connection. What are you connected to your Wi-Fi or you're on a 4G?
I was on my phone last week.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's just going weird. You sound like TK421.
I'll show you post. I think that's. Oh, I think there's one other thing. Where is it?
I'm just trying to picture your setup. Like, how many different headphones do you have?
They're all like sitting in a pile from when I go to work. I just pick one every day.
Oh yeah, cycle through them.
I can't do. I like my ears. The ones that go in your ear, they just don't work with me.
Does he sound like that for you, Ben? Does he sound like
Yeah, it's an off mic sound. It's like goes from sounding like you're sitting right there to being like on the other side of the house, basically.
Ooh, how about this? This is with no headset. I'm just using the phone.
No, I'm still doing it.
It's almost like that's
Could be a
something
connection.
that's something that 4G would do though, right? Like,
Well, check your internet, Scoot, because currently I'm getting 6.5 download speed. It could be that.
6.5.
Yeah, megs per second. Yeah,
Shit.
it's fucked up. Is what it is.
Frick, it's 9:40. Well, I'm getting 5.3.
Fucking NBN, man.
I'm getting 23 upload.
Yeah, I know upload's fucking great, but download speed sucks my balls. Can you try going to 4G? Will that fuck around too much?
Waste my data. Yeah.
it shouldn't be too. I mean, it's just audio, so it shouldn't be too much.
Am I there?
Yeah, just switch off your video. Yeah, you're there, but I don't know if it's any better or not.
Let me put a headset. I'm not using a headset. It's something. Okay. Any better?
Just sing Twinkle Twinkle for me. No, it's still happening. Why the fuck is that happening? It's so weird. Can you maybe disconnect and reconnect to the server? a good time.
Fuck, I love how Alec Baldwin is still doing the Trump stuff.
Hello, ABC, EFG.
It's so hard to sound enthusiastic when you're recording like this because by its very nature you sound like Stephen Hawking.
A lot. Yeah, I agree. It's much easier, I think, when you're in person.
That seems to be better, dude. Just turn off your video.
It is. Oh, what? Okay. Is that better?
Now it's off. Yep, that sounds way better. All right. Cool. So I'll just do intro to me again. So hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, this is Scott.
And this is Ben. How you going, guys?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, man. So this week we're looking at. This is the second week of the challenge, and this week we're looking at movies that were TV shows. For my choice, I picked the Transformers movie, which is the 1986 cartoon that was based on the G1 TV series. What did you guys pick?
I checked out Guy Ritchie's Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie that came out in 2015 with, oh goodness, what's their name? Superman and Social Network guy.
Good looking guy number one and good looking guy number two.
And Alicia Vikander.
Better looking than both of them, girl.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Armie Hammer?
Yes. Arnie.
Is that his name, Armie? Isn't it Armie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Armie.
Don't question me.
Winklevoss.
Just one of the Winklevoss twins, yeah.
You never know which one was CGI.
That's right. Ben, what'd you check out?
I decided to finally watch the Twin Peaks film Fire Walk with Me, just because there's so much buzz around Twin Peaks at the moment with the new TV series on the way. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've put it off for so long, and I think I'm more confused than ever.
And so, did you watch the original? Did you watch the original TV series?
Yeah, actually, fuck. I'm not that. If I'd watched this without watching the TV series, like, it would have been the same as like dropping a tab of acid, I think. Like, it's yeah. I had the grounding. I'd watched the TV series like quite a few years ago. And I actually didn't even know, like, when it ended, I'm like, huh, that was a weird ending. And it took me a while, like talking to friends and stuff, before I realized there was this follow-up that happened, which is in fact a prequel to the TV series.
How many years later was it made?
It wasn't only like a year or so.
Okay.
It didn't have. Yeah, David Lynch was still involved, but there was a different guy he was working with, yeah, but it feels the same but different. But yeah, I'm glad I finally watched it because there's a lot of Twin Peaks people at my work, and they're forever trying to dodge the question of who killed Laura Palmer, which is the main mystery in the show, and they've never really given it away to me. So, what's
the show about? Like, for those people who haven't seen it all.
For any listeners who don't know what the whole Twin Peaks thing's all about, it was a groundbreaking show back in the early 90s. It was groundbreaking because it was so weird and dark and twisted. David Lynch, obviously, who made like Blue Velvet and Eraserhead, all these weird films, decided to make a TV show, and it was all basically a murder mystery about who killed this teenage girl, Laura Palmer. But that was just an excuse to set a story in this strange town full of strange people. And so the through line is the murder mystery. Kyle MacLachlan is like the lead FBI investigator who comes to the town, and he's really off kilter, but like really likable character. And yeah, as the show goes along through the 2 seasons, it just gets weirder and weirder, and it kind of ends in a really ambiguous way, which I liked. But he wanted to, I don't know if he had a plan, or this is probably like a George Lucas thing. I don't know if David Lynch had planned all along to do this prequel, or he just decided later on, but he basically goes back and, tells the story of the last week of Laura Palmer's life, eventually leading to give us the answer to the question of who killed Laura Palmer. But it takes a lot of little turns along the way. And yeah, he's a real, I don't know how many David Lynch films you guys have seen, but he draws a lot from his dreams when he makes these films.
Sure.
Like he takes like inspiration from the weird shit that happens in, like, we all have weird dreams, but he actually, but how often do you actually remember them? Like he logs his dreams and he uses that shit in the show, but like it could be completely detached and like completely like I don't know, like pointless, but
Right.
I still got a little bit of narrative in there to kind of keep you going. It's not everyone's cup of tea, that's for sure. But yeah, I think Twin Peaks became like one. It just entered into pop culture, and I think that's why it's kind of hung around ever since. And no, I don't know if anyone's asked, like, was crying out for a new series, but possibly it could, give a few more answers to the many questions that it throws up.
Sure.
But if you want, sorry.
There you go. So you finish off.
No. I was going to just say is, yeah, I think the reaction to The Fire Walk with Me wasn't as positive as the show, because a lot of people, I think a lot of people dug the fact that the show was ambiguous, and there was not as much Kyle MacLachlan in the film, and people love him as a character, and I don't think he wanted to be as big a part of the prequel because he didn't want to get typecast. So
right,
yeah, they pull back on that as well. But what were we going to say, man?
I was just going to say, did it add anything to the movie? Like, sorry, the movie did you watch? Did it add anything to the TV show, or is it just kind of like?
It actually does. It actually justifies a lot of the weird characters in the show. You kind of see why they are the way they are, but it doesn't like answer every question you have. They actually a little annoying. They recast one of the characters. Lara Flynn Boyle plays Laura Palmer's like friend, and they recast that character. And it took me a while to figure out that was actually happening. But it's probably in a good example of like doing a prequel, right. But there's also a lot of hate out there for this because yeah, it does. So a lot of people do like the way that the show ended. I guess it'd be like, doing a prequel to like Sopranos or something. I don't know. Like that was a really ambiguous ending to that show, a famous ending. I guess they've kind of done it with, Breaking Bad, but not as a film. Like this actually premiered at Cannes. So it's a bit of a weird one. Like, Better Call Saul is obviously a whole new show that just happens to be set before Breaking Bad, but this is a whole nother thing. And I don't know how the new series is going to fit in to the timeline at all. Knowing David Lynch, it probably won't. It'll probably just be this fucking other thing that just happens to be set. It'll probably be set in Twin Peaks, but yeah, I don't think it'll be the same storyline. I think it'll be something completely different.
It's supposed to be a sequel, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's meant to be, because they make reference to the fact that it's 23 years after the events of, like, the show. It's hard to talk about it too much because, like, the nature of Kyle MacLachlan's character is like Agent Cooper. Yeah, his character. It's hard to think of how they're going to bring his character back, but I'm sure
suggesting he dies.
No, not at all.
Because if you were, you weren't very ambiguous with it.
It's hard because neither of you have seen it, and
No, I haven't.
I don't know how many listeners would have actually seen it. But it's one of those things. Like last week, we were talking 1960s films, and we were trying to steer clear of spoilers. But for this, and we decided it was okay to spoil those films, but it feels like there's still a few people that will be going back and watching Twin Peaks in the next few months. So definitely. I don't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, they're very fucking weird, and yeah, David Lynch scares the shit out of me sometimes. And I watched this.
The director himself or his movie?
Well, yeah, both. But I was watching this in the dark by myself, and it's not, it's just meant to be like a mystery kind of mindfuck. But there's moments that are genuinely fucking horrific, like on par with The Exorcist at times.
Yeah, right.
just jump moments, because he's really big on like quiet, and then like sound design. He just cranks it, and then suddenly you're jumping off the couch. But yeah, so yeah,
You might be able to,
probably a different experience to Scoot and Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yes. Nice segue.
Can I ask one more question about Fire Walk with Me or whatever what's it called? Sorry, Fire
Yeah, that's it.
Walk with Me. Cool. Now, if you remember back onto the horror podcast we were doing back with the movie cast, I brought up there being the scariest scene that I've ever seen from any movie being in that movie. Is that in there? It's the sequence with the mother, Laura's mother, working out that she had seen the killer in the bedroom. Is that in that movie?
Yeah, I think in the scene with Bob, you mean, like the long-haired character.
Yeah, the long-haired character.
Yeah. They
just
do
hanging
show
out in the bedroom. Okay.
Yeah, they show it. Yeah, it's up there with one of them. Yeah, but wait, have you seen that scene?
This is weird. So it's like one of those movies that I saw when I was a kid. I have no recollection of the rest of the storyline. No idea what's going on. I knew it was Twin Peaks. I thought it was just called Twin Peaks. But then I was told Twin Peaks was a TV series, like as I grew up. And so I had no idea what I'd actually seen. And then that's why I'm asking you, was it in that movie or was it in the TV series? And I haven't actually watched it again because it scared me so much when I was a kid that I was just like, I'm not going near it.
It's actually in both. I think that scene you're talking about actually appears in both. But
right,
Bob as a character is scary. Like he's just like pure evil. But I would say there's an even scarier moment in Mulholland Drive, which is one of his other movies, where this fucking creature thing pops out of like an alleyway.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's if you look up jump scares, it's it's definitely always in there.
It's a homeless dude, isn't it?
Yeah, but for some reason he's like super grotesque, and it just like I think monster when I remember it. I don't want to watch it again.
Right.
Yeah, but
so kind of like Ron Howard's brother.
Good old Clint.
Yeah. It sounds like you had the opposite of me. So you like somehow watched this first and then heard that there was a show. And how old were you?
Well, yes. The issue is, I come from a family with 7 siblings, or 8 siblings, including myself. And so they would just always watch movies, and I would kind of just jump in and watch whatever they were watching, kind of thing. So, I'd seen Nightmare on Elm Street 4 when I was 4, and then it kind of continued on from there. So, this movie was probably around 5 or 6. And I remember that sequence. It terrified the living daylights out of me. I had nightmares for a couple of weeks about it. And ever since then, I've never touched that film. It's like I've seen other films like obviously the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and that they're awesome, whatever. But for some reason, that one I just never. I think it was because it was hard to find that I kind of never really searched for it. I mean, with things like the YouTube and stuff like that, I probably find it pretty easy, but obviously it wouldn't have the same, feeling with the sequence. But anyway, it's just good to know that it's actually in that film, and I can look for it if I want to, which I probably won't, but I might.
Yeah, it sounds like you're scarred a bit.
Anyway, Scoot, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, so that's what I watched. Man from U.N.C.L.E. It was okay. So it's a hard one to explain, I think, because I didn't think it was anything fancy or anything really that exciting. But the gist of the film is you have it's set in the 60s, and basically a CIA operative joins forces with a KGB agent to take on some big baddie. Very much a 60s kind of spy film, directed by Guy Ritchie, and it's kind of pretty average, to be totally honest. It's nowhere near as great as some of his earlier works, and it's kind of even less exciting than the new Sherlock Holmes films that he did, I guess. But
why did it fall flat? Because the idea, that premise sounds pretty cool to me. Like I'd be totally into that. I haven't seen it. I avoided it at the movies for some reason because I heard bad reviews of it. But why doesn't it work?
I think it's not so much that I don't think it doesn't work. I just don't think it does anything to stand out from the crowd. It's pretty much a kind of paint by numbers, to be totally honest. both the leads are, they're okay. Interestingly enough, they cast a British guy as the American, and then they cast an American as the KGB. But both Henry Cavill plays took me a while to remember his name, plays the CIA agent, Napoleon Solo, and then Armie Hammer plays the KGB agent, and they're joined by Alicia Vikander, who is actually quite good as a German girl who's got some interest in the story. But I thought the action was okay. They had quite a bit of humor in it, which I appreciated that. And there was quite a good little car chase at the end. But beyond that, it didn't do anything more than, nothing it did stood out from the crowd at all. I thought it was pretty average. I was trying to look for a film that I hadn't seen before for this category. I was quite excited about this category, but when I looked on Wikipedia about all the films that based on TV shows, there are a lot I'd either seen or were not very easy to grab, but there were a lot that were just like the movie. Well, I mean, you watch Transformers the movie. There's tons of animated films that they made the movie of, and there was tons that in the mid-90s when the Brady Bunch movie came out, and they're all kind of like those parody comedy films, which I'd seen most of those. So it was kind of interesting to kind of see a serious remake of an older show, and it's probably not since Mission Impossible that I'd kind of been like that, to be totally honest. Even this year with Baywatch coming out, I mean, it's much easier to hit those kind of old TV shows as parody now because we look back at how stupid some of them were. But this story.
Don't you ever talk that way about Baywatch?
Hey, I mean, we'll see.
I've never seen a single episode of Baywatch, and I don't intend to.
That's my childhood. It's strange. I think I might be one of the only people on the planet that liked Baywatch for not boobs. Like, it was basically the storylines of that show that I enjoyed.
I so believe that.
One episode that I can always remember, which was a crocodile was like swimming underneath like the light.
Classic episode.
Why is there a crocodile in wherever it's set in California?
Mate, why are there many things? Have you heard? I mean, have you seen Baywatch Nights? That's classic television right there. Baywatch Nights was a spin-off of Baywatch where basically Mitch, David Hasselhoff, became a PI for hire essentially. But the original stories in that. Yeah, essentially. But the starting off stories were like kidnappings and all murders and stuff like that. But around that same time, X-Files came out, and X-Files obviously getting really popular. So Baywatch Nights decided that they could be X-Files too, and so they started taking on alien, ideas and stuff like that, and try and connect that back to Baywatch. It was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, he's chasing aliens at night, and then
I think it's those kind of premises that you're going to take and run with in this movie that's coming out. Really, there's no modern way I think you can take that show and not be funny about it.
They've taken that 22 Jump Street kind of vibe and injected it, I think, into that new Baywatch that they're making.
100%, yeah. And I think that it should be okay, but yeah. Man from U.N.C.L.E., it was okay. I would, it's on there on the Netflix if you want to check it out, but I can't really say, rush out and see it. It was kind of paint by numbers. I think it's somewhat predictable, but beyond that, there's nothing truly special about it. It's there and it's okay. I wasn't familiar at all with the original TV show, but I hear that was quite good and for the time, quite a successful kind of spy show. But yeah, there was nothing that we hadn't seen before, I didn't think, in this.
What I found interesting is that, because I saw this film as well. I think I saw this film at the movies, actually. We reviewed it for the site, and I remember thinking, like, Henry Cavill, he's basically doing James Bond in this movie.
Yeah, and I was reading that Tom Cruise was going to play that role for the longest time. Then he had to drop out to do Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, I think. But I can't imagine him playing it any differently either. It's kind of a black and white kind of role, and it's just like American James Bond. Yeah.
But he, I think he was also in the running for James Bond when Daniel Craig got the role, right? I'm pretty sure he's missed out on being close to on a few roles, but I thought he was suave in this, but yeah, you're right. It's a fun movie. Like, it's super stylish. I thought, I think it's the best looking movie of all Guy Ritchie's stuff.
I liked all
But
the like 90s, 60s, that kind of stuff. Like every time Alicia Vikander put on those big like bubble glasses, and that stuff
yeah,
was all kind of great. And
I
actually,
think
I
it's one
quite
of the
liked her because she generally normally plays quite serious roles, like in Ex Machina and stuff. But she's pretty fun in this.
yeah, definitely. I think it's one of those movies that hits its stride at the very end. So
Yep,
at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, this is gonna be this is fun. Like, why didn't they start here? It
100%.
just and we're never gonna see. We're never gonna like. I don't think it was successful enough to justify
No,
a
and
sequel. So
box office, and they kind of want to make it a franchise, like any other film these days. Want to try and build a franchise out of it, and so a lot of the pieces don't come together until right at the end. So yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, and I think the fact that none of us are familiar with the show is kind of like another thing as well. It's harder to get an audience, but
correct. So
that's why I would say watch it with your dad. Like it's a good movie to watch with your dad.
I asked my parents what they thought of it, and oh yeah, we really liked it. We really liked the show, and so they people who are familiar with it may have enjoyed it a lot more, but for us, for me, it was pretty cookie cutter against every other kind of spy film I'd seen. So yeah, it's there. Watch it if you're interested, but I wouldn't rush out and see it.
I don't think anyone's going to watch it after what you just said about it, Scoot. Like, I have no interest in watching it ever, probably.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I was cut out for a second. But yeah, so
What
I
did you
checked
watch,
out.
Ryan?
I watched Transformers the movie. I had seen it. I've seen it many times. I'm not going to lie. But I fell into the same trap as you did, Scoot. And I looked at Wikipedia and I tried to look for films because I thought there would be a lot more than there is really, and there's not. And there's all those, as you said, those '90s movies that try to be like Brady Bunch, and there's like Charlie's Angels and stuff like that. And then outside of that, there's not too much original
Yep.
content that I kind of hadn't seen.
The other category that I think is interesting is the our series finished. Let's make a movie of it. Let's kickstart a movie of it 5, 10 years later, which is popping up a lot more recently. But anyway, I digress. Go back to Transformers.
No, that's all right. So Transformers, 1986, animated film. It was meant to be the new evolution of the Transformers G1 franchise and kind of bringing you into all these new characters. So the way they decided to do that was killing off basically every single original character from the original TV series and bringing in a whole new bunch. And that meant killing off Optimus Prime, who was the Autobot leader, if you didn't know. So this film is set 20 years, I believe, later than the original TV series. And so, characters like the human characters have all grown up and they've had kids and stuff like that. And so those kids are now taking on the helm as the main characters almost. And that being the character Daniel. Anyway, point being, Megatron decides that he's just going to kill all the Autobots, goes down to Autobot City, slaughters basically all of them, and then him and Optimus Prime get in this, world's greatest battle. And they both come off the worse. Optimus Prime dies, and the rest is kind of history. But the movie itself is bloody enjoyable as hell, especially the first 25 minutes of it, which is all based on the Autobot City and all the Autobots battling each other and Decepticons battling each other and everyone dying and stuff like that. It's bloody enjoyable as hell, and it's backed by one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. Yeah, so for me, this movie, obviously I've seen it 100 times. It's a childhood movie. Still grew up with it.
Sorry,
Yeah, there you go.
speaking of the soundtrack, what's the song that plays over the end credits? Like that's I feel like that's the one that I love the most, and it's crazy that I can't remember how it goes.
The end credits is just a Transformers theme by Lion. The band was.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of The Touch, probably.
Yes,
You
The
got
Touch.
the touch.
Yeah, so
Down,
good.
down,
And then we
down. You got the tiger. Sorry. Yeah, that was by Stan Bush, and actually also appeared in Boogie Nights, sung by Mark Wahlberg.
I thought so.
Which was weird because it was an original song in 1986, and that movie is set in the 70s, so really it makes no sense. But let's move on.
It was all in a coke haze. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the film, but the film itself, it was, as I said, it was meant to set off a new generation of Transformers, but it did really just kind of kill the franchise. They brought out this new character who led the Autobots called Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime, and he was kind of a shit character because at the end of the day, he led to Optimus Prime being killed, and so a lot of fans took that badly, and him being the leader of the Autobots just kind of ended the franchise, and everyone turned their heads against it, and it finished a series later. I think it was 2 seasons later, but the fourth season, the final season, only went for 3 episodes, so it didn't really
But really, the
get
movie's
too
all
far.
about killing everyone off so they can make new toys, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
I think my favorite, there's a great quote from Orson Welles. I play a toy who does bad things, or what's it say? I play a toy in a movie about toys who do horrible things to each other.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up the whole film. But yeah, there's a lot of people in it. Like Judd Nelson's in it. Leonard Nimoy plays Ultra Magnus. And wait, is that right? Let me double check that. I need to check that one.
Doesn't he play
Leonard
the same
Nimoy.
way that he played in Transformers 3?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
I think he does. Let me double check. I'm gonna cut this bit out anyway, so give me one sec.
He plays another Prime. He plays another Prime, doesn't he? In Dark of the Moon.
Yeah,
Sentinel
he does.
Prime.
Yeah. Scoot, your thing's going crap again, by the way. Not that it matters too much, but
Yeah, I noticed that. It happened.
Yeah, I
much
could hear
when
it too off someone.
so I got that wrong. Sorry. Leonard Nimoy plays Galvatron, which is the new Megatron, because he loses his body and after the fight between Optimus Prime, and then gets a new one from Unicron. Look, I know this is all spoilers, but the movie came out in 1986. It came out the same year I was born. I'm now 30, so if you haven't seen it by this point, then you're probably not going to see it, or you don't care. But anyway, it's a good film. I highly recommend it, especially for the first half an hour of the film. Kind of goes off in a bit of a weird tangent after that, but it's still really good and enjoyable the rest of the film. But the first half an hour, worth your while. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So yeah, do you guys have any questions? Anything?
Well, I'm just thinking like, so movies based on TV shows. Do you think? I mean, it fares slightly better than computer game adaptations.
Yeah,
But like,
for the most part.
are there any nailed on like 5-star like classics? Like, is the MASH?
It depends.
Is the MASH finale considered a film?
No, it can't be. It's a direct spin-off of the direct, longer episode of the TV show. Like it shouldn't be considered a film if it is.
Yeah, and that was also the
Um,
reverse anyway, because it's based on a film, right? The Robert
Correct,
Altman movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I mean, the Entourage movie is probably like a recent example of what you were saying, Scoot, of like, let's just pick up this show, like a never-ending like story, which is shit. Because I think a lot of people, it's obviously like the Entourage is like they were doing what they did with Sex and the City, but for a male demographic. But
I found that Entourage movie really interesting because I really, really liked the show when it came out. But then, I'd fall off the bandwagon, especially towards later, I think the final series, I kind of just skipped altogether. But then when I came back and saw the film, and it just felt childish, the whole thing. So I don't know whether I'd grown up or whatnot, but those guys just, like, they were doing the same shtick, except they were, like, supposed to be way older, and it just felt weird and off. And it kind of made me think, well, hang on, was the rest of the show like this, or did I change, or whatnot? But yeah, the movie was okay. I didn't think it was anything great. The one that I find interesting is Serenity, right? So I was a huge Firefly fan, and I saw Serenity. I quite like it, but now since Serenity, I have a real hard time going back and watching Firefly because it seems very TV budget, where Serenity is quite a big budgeted film, and I actually quite like. But yeah, the TV show now seems so pale and small compared to the film. And so yeah, I would have a hard time, sorry browncoats, but I would have a hard time going back and for them to go make a new Firefly TV show. It would seem small.
I think there's also two different versions of TV shows that were made into a movie. It's the TV shows that were made into sorry, I think my thing cut out. The TV shows that still have the same cast and characters from the original TV series and now making a movie. And then there's the complete reboots with different cast members, that don't make any appearance from the original TV show, and they're making a new movie completely with new actors and stuff like that, kind of like 21 Jump Street and stuff like that. And for movies like that, I would say that 21 Jump Street would be a 5-star
Yeah, that was
movie. I mean, I laughed the whole movie of that. And there were some good cameos. Like I never saw Johnny Depp come in at the end, and then obviously he was there. And
but even the sequel was really good.
Sequel's unreal.
Yeah, I think that's just, and who was expecting to be that good? Like nobody.
No.
But that's a very rare exception. I would actually say that those two films are like one of the few like really good American comedies, like of modern comedies. Like it's been pretty bad in general, but yeah, as I said, like I think they're trying to do the same thing with Baywatch now. But the Baywatch thing, I mean, those trailers don't impress me at all.
No, I agree.
And that feels more like that 90s phase we were talking about with the TV reboots. Like, I wonder how many more are in the. It's like how many 21 Jump Street imitators there are in the works.
Yeah, but what's interesting is as the quality of TV has kind of grown in the last 5-10 years, I have a hard time thinking that 20 years down the track they're going to be making a Game of Thrones movie or a Breaking Bad film. None of that stuff kind of translates.
There's no need.
Yeah, these are long form stories, right? That there's no way they can translate into our film without jettisoning something important, surely. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they probably think as well. Like, is Netflix or is it better to just make a film and then you can show films on those home video formats? There's a lot less risk than releasing something theatrically. So maybe that's another way they'll go with this if they make similar kind of films in future.
Yeah, and then we're starting to see both Amazon and Netflix pick up not just shows but films as well, to bring to their platforms, which it gives more opportunity, right? Because ultimately, yeah, you're right. There's less risk, so there's more opportunity for potentially smaller budget or very niche films to kind of find a home somewhere on these platforms.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sherlock is basically 3 films. Like they release, like several movie-length episodes, like at once. So how is that any different than? I don't know. Like, I think it's probably likely if there are other TV shows out there that they look at and they go, this is really popular. They either bring them back in the same way they did with Gilmore Girls and they do like 4 specials. Or maybe they do 1 movie-length episode, but yeah, budgets now being what they are, that's kind of changed a bit.
Yeah, but I also think there's a big concern with, this current world where we live with in this realm of nostalgia. We need to see these things come back rather than just letting them kind of die. To me, it's just like we seem to be constantly wanting to live in the past or relive these great things that we used to love, to varying levels of success. So there's, for every good one of these things, we get 10 bad ones. So I kind of hope that we don't, as an audience, kind of grip onto these. Oh, we get to see our favorite, TV shows. Oh, finally we get to see a film of it, or our favorite franchises kind of brought back, because I think there's a potential that we might lose some of those original things that we might miss out on because the studios just want to throw quick money at established IP.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, I lost train of thought because I was trying to work out, see if I can fix your audio. But I can't.
Well, I think we pretty much said everything we can say.
Yeah.
Yep. So we probably.
All right. Well, I'll taper it off there. So what's next week?
Next week is films based on a true story.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. Next week, episode 3. One more time. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. Next week we've got week 3. It's going to be movies that were once true stories, or that are true stories.
fancy bunch.
Yeah, fucking hell.
They've been labeled false by Donald Trump. Donald Trump has said this is now false. It's overrated.
Wrong. All right, we'll leave it there. Next week is week 3, and we're going to be doing movies that are true stories or based on true stories. Pick whatever you want. If you've seen the movie already, that's fine. But hopefully you can watch something new that you've never seen before. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of true stories. Even watch a documentary if you want. It's all up to you. That's what the challenge is all about. And if you do the challenge, let us know on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SIIAG movie challenge. And, we'll hit you up and talk about what you saw on the podcast next week. So my name's Ryan.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Ben.
And this is So Is It Any Good's Movie Challenge. See you next week.
Happy movie watching.
Have fun.
Stay classic. Stay classic. We'll have to monitor this thing and make sure, if no one is listening to it, then we should reassess. But maybe
people will pick up on it.
We can do some giveaways or something, some kind of incentive.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Maybe we can give away the movies we watched or something.
I think it's a lot easier for a discussion if we all, I know it's hard, but if we all see the films that the three,
Yeah.
Because, Man Fuck, it's good that you'd seen that, Ben, 'cause at least you could ask something, but Twin Peaks and Transformers.
Yeah. But I think we can organize that.
Just give me a sec.
Yeah.